And away we go. Welcome in, everybody. It is time for Three Guys Before the Game. We're now closer to 1,000 episodes than we are 0. Episode 501. This is our first, well, actually, is it our first ever BYU preview? When did we play them? 16, 17, right when we started, right?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
We'll have to have a...
Yeah, I don't know that you can say it's the first one yet. You got to confirm.
We'll have to have our production staff, of which we don't have one, take a look and see if we'd ever done a Three Guys, 16 or 17 we playing.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yep, give or take.
Welcome in, everybody. It's episode 501, Three Guys Before the Game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Comax. By Go-Mart. Go for good times. Go for Go-Mart. Boy, were they busy. Halloween going through. Whew. I hope you used your rewards card, triple rewards, on Tuesdays here in the month of November. Get those rewards points, you build them up. Free food, reduced food prices, gas. Got it. Get your Go-Mart card by going to gomart.com. Three Guys also brought to us by award-winning.
What?
Award-winning Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans.
What'd they win? What award?
They didn't win just one award. They won 2 awards. They've been named Best in the Valley and Best in the Tri-State. 45 years. There it is. Best in the Tri-State. 45 years they've been in business, and anyone knows that if you have lasting power, that's the only way you have lasting power, if you do what you do and you do it well. So congratulations to Lou Wendell Marine Sales. They still have that unbelievable deal on that 2385 Entertainer, the Tri-Tune model. We'll get into that coming up in just a little bit. And Three Guys brought to us by the folks at Conley CPA Group. They provide value beyond the numbers, or as I like to say, they're the CPA group that doesn't get nervous when the deadline for taxes come out. They're like, yeah, that's what we got.
They just want the ball when the shot clock's winding down.
Mm-hmm. They just say, give it to us. A lot of other accountants, CPAs, they break out in hives, they get nervous, they get twitchy because, it's deadline time. Yeah, we know. It happens every year. Conley CPA Group goes like, yeah, we got the deadline. Conley, I don't know if this is official, but they probably go like, I got your deadline right here. We got you taken care of. They do it all. Talk about them coming up in just a little bit. Okay, so we now cut to the shot of the studio, the what we call the 3-shot. Oh! For those that are watching, a gaping hole in the middle.
You see some of those on Saturday.
I was going to say, C.J. Donaldson could run through that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't need that much space.
Well, Garrett Green on a cornerback draw.
So we've already established that Hoppy's not here. At the end of the last program, he said he had something else. He had to go. I don't know what he's doing.
Something more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he took his Trading Post radio station on location, selling a couple bald tires and a used fishing rod somewhere. But anyway, he's not here today. However, we do have a special guest, which led to a lot of speculation on social media platforms as to who it would be.
A lot of speculation. And
someone, when they teased it, our Three Guys social media team made mention of 14. Right, they made mention of 14.
It was a good hint.
It was a really good.
Paying attention, that was it. You got it.
And there were people that got it, and you're going to get it in just a little bit. We're going to be joined in studio in just a while by West Virginia's own Charles Wesley Godwin, who is hotter than a sweatband and a firefighter's helmet in the music world, and his song Q Country Roads, which if you're watching this or listening to this, you probably already have heard. That's him. He was the guy that gave an impassioned speech to the Mountaineer football team during practice in August about being picked 14th in the league. He let him have it. Now, the version that you see on social, a little bit different than the version in live, but
he delivered that. That was a good speech. For somebody that doesn't do that every day, not like coach stand in front of the team, that was really on stage. He's not going to get rattled there. I get that he's a performer and gets on stage. That was a good speech
because it came from the heart.
Yeah,
he didn't really. He just he got his thing going. I'm a former football player over here at the high school.
Well, sure.
And he'll tell us a little bit later on when he made his attempt to walk onto the Mountaineer football team on a couple of occasions. We'll get that story as well.
Can't wait.
Now, what did Apple Music?
By the way, you know
Apple
what?
Music just named him what?
Yeah, Performer of the Month. Rising Star of the Month.
Rising Star of the Month.
Nice award. Now, Apple Music, you probably heard of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what else would be good? His music coming out of that pontoon on the lake on a nice summer day. That would be pretty strong.
Ooh.
Because that has a big entertainment system on that pontoon.
Now he's
really good speakers.
Yeah. Now he's going to be busy next summer. Like when your main
He's going to be a little busy.
Yeah, he's going to be opening up for Luke Combs in the stadium tour next summer. So maybe on an off day on a Monday or something like that, we get him over there on Cheat Lake or something like there, or Stonewall.
Yeah, he's familiar with Cheat Lake. Yeah.
Well, sure, we're raised right around.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so let's do this thing. West Virginia and BYU on Saturday. Later on, when we get to textual healing, we'll get into the schedule stuff because the schedule came out. We'll talk
Future year football schedule came out.
Yeah.
You know the opponents now.
You now know the opponents. You don't know the dates, but you know where you're going.
A lot of traditional rivals.
Excuse me?
A lot of traditional rivals on that. Names you'll recognize?
Nah.
No, a little weird.
A lot of weird.
It was weird.
A lot of weird.
Yeah.
We'll get to, at some point, we'll get to have the reunion matchup of the Cheez-It Bowl when we go play Arizona State. That game, by the way, just ended 15 minutes ago, and David Sills just caught the pass.
That was a late
night. We'll talk all about that. All right. So West Virginia comes home. They snapped the 2-game skid last week at UCF, in large part because they didn't beat themselves, but they took advantage of the things that teams do that do beat themselves. And in this case, it was the 4 turnovers by UCF, which West Virginia produced into 21 points. And West Virginia also played it cleanly in regard to penalties, the things that they didn't do in the loss to Houston and Oklahoma State. So now the question becomes, can West Virginia cleanly play again Saturday night when they meet up with BYU? Senator, we often ask this: good matchup, bad matchup. You never pull a punch, good or bad.
I think a good matchup, but also here's your grain of salt. I thought last week was a bad matchup for West Virginia, so that didn't go exactly as planned. The other ones I felt pretty good about those the last previous 6 games or so. I feel good about this from a West Virginia perspective on the X's and O's when we get down into it. We'll get into some numbers that I think will back that up a little bit. But you hit on something there that's important every game, and you're right. We saw the ultimate importance of it last week with the don't make mistakes, let the other team make mistakes, then you take advantage of it. That was the whole story of that game last week. Those 4 turnovers for UCF, as you mentioned, turning into 21 points. West Virginia had the turnover, but it didn't hurt them in terms of points. That was the difference in the game. The week before against Oklahoma State, it was just the opposite. Sure. These 2 teams are interesting from that standpoint that BYU is – they like to take it away, tons of interceptions. You're talking about a top 10 turnover margin team in the Cougars, and they don't commit a lot of penalties. So West Virginia, in the vein of don't commit a lot of turnovers generally, don't commit a lot of penalties. So Is this a clean game? Does somebody make more mistakes than the other? So watch that this game, even more important than regular games, I think.
Okay. Injury-wise of significance, Doug Nestor is out at right tackle. It just doesn't seem as though we're having a ton of luck of getting the band, so to speak, the 5 offensive linemen starting on a consistent basis, right? You lose Remack, you lose Wyatt Milam at the same time, and you suffer when that happens. And now Doug Nestor, in all likelihood, Neil said earlier this week, but, doubtful, getting better, but doubtful. Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like he's going to be ready to go. However, Nick Malone, who quickly is speeding up the all-time chart of walk-on who makes massive production, will just go like, okay, that's fine. Last week, a couple weeks ago, I was playing tight end. Put the 88 on me. I'll go over there and play tight end on the left side when we went unbalanced. Then I'll move inside to left tackle for Wyatt. Now I'll just jump over to right tackle. He is the Swiss Army knife. And like Charles Godwin, he played over at the high school too.
He's to use an old baseball term, utility infielder.
Yeah.
You've been able to plug Nick into every position. It's unfortunate, though, from the line perspective. You mentioned haven't been able to get everybody together. Just 12 plays last week is all you got before Nestor went out. And remember, Garrett was hurt a couple games before that, so getting that line and Garrett all healthy and rolling at the same time has been a challenge. You're right. If you have to lose one of those 4 or 5 starting offensive linemen that you trust so much, Nick Malone's got a lot of snaps under him. So the other part, getting those first-team reps all week this week, that should help as well. So you plug him at right tackle, and away you go.
Okay, aside here, life lesson for us all, right? If your initial plans for something, this doesn't have to be sports-related, but if your initial plans for something become discombobulated, just keep pushing along. That's Nick Malone's story. Offered a scholarship by Pitt coming out of high school, and then they pulled it. And he could have said, oh, woe is me. Didn't. Said, fine, I'll take the walk-on at West Virginia. He comes in, works at an incredible rate, makes himself better all the way around, and now look what he's doing. He's enjoying great success. He's playing big boy football and playing a role in winning these football games. So there's your life lesson. When your stuff doesn't go as planned, put your face into the fan and keep on moving, have trust in yourself, and good things will happen.
That's the story of the West Virginia program, isn't it?
Through the years.
I mean, add Nick to the list of guys that we could go for an hour talking about that did just that.
Sure. I mean, the guy that they're going to have the statue on will be Rich Brahan, right? He was the one that just like came in and all of a sudden he plays a decade in the NFL, among others. But that's been the essence of this football program. You mentioned a second ago, Garrett Green. So this is kind of starting to get a little bit fun. Through the years, we watch quarterbacks get their opportunity, and we watch them evolve. We watch them develop. And normally in that process, it starts slowly, regardless of who you are, i.e., go back and take a look at Major Harris's first couple of starts. Had a couple like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But then you start to see it percolate, right? Old school. Starts to percolate, kind of like a teapot, just before it starts to whistle. It'll emit some steam, but can't get into the full. It's not going yet. But just before it. Well, you see that with quarterbacks too. You just watch them do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. I think we're starting to see that with Garrett Green. He's starting to go like, I got it, and now I'm balling.
Per usual, we do not discuss the content of this program before the show begins.
Correct.
I've got a little section on Garrett coming up in Spreads on Stats. You're 100% right, and we've got to keep talking about this because the year that he is producing so far through almost 2/3 of the season is outstanding. And I don't mean just outstanding in terms of what the expectations were from external folks this summer, us included. I'm talking about like all-conference honor type season for him. So we'll get into some of those numbers that back that up. But he's been the driver of this offensive football team so far, along with the offensive line, and he has kept you around and able to produce as now the receivers are starting to grow up a little bit. The running backs are starting to come along. That room is starting to show the depth that we thought it may have this summer. And so, again, that the stalwarts along the offensive line and Garrett Green have been just flat out outstanding this year.
Okay, since the last time we got together here, I'm jumping onto the other side of the ball now. How about Shannon Bishop, Defensive Player of the Week this week in the Big 12 Conference? What?
Excuse me?
Shannon Bishop. Goes by the name Beanie. And Beanie, given name is Shannon. Beanie Bishop. Now think about this one, folks. You're in the portal this offseason and you're looking for a guy, and they identify Beanie Bishop. He's playing at Minnesota, not playing as much as he wants. They kind of had him, as Neil said earlier this week, they were playing him a little bit inside. He wasn't out there straight. Wanted a different look, right? Has played a lot of football, a ton of football. Like we're heading towards 60 games worth of football, so a ton. But he comes out here and he gets opportunity. And that's the hardest position, I think, to play on the field because you're man against man and you're isolated. And he's the Defensive Player of the Week in the Big 12 after he grabs a couple of interceptions, and now he's among the nation's leaders in that category, also with pass breakups. So, like, when we sit here a lot of times and talk about recruiting, sometimes for whatever reason we kind of shrug our shoulders and don't give full credit to a transfer portal addition that pays dividends. But this guy needs to be circled and go like, that was a hell of a pickup for an acquisition.
You're exactly right, and he falls into the line of we had conversations on this show this summer about this. Was some of these guys that were coming in that you were plugging into the starting lineup, were they going to be hits? Were they going to look like Alonzo Adai or Charles Woods, recent vintage transfer guys that have come in and said, okay, you know what, I can play. I'm going to be an all-conference type of guy. Beanie Bishop's right there. You mentioned his 4 interceptions on the season. That's as many as West Virginia had all of last year as a team. So very good. You want a quick early spreads on stats teaser about Beanie Bishop?
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Here's something to watch. Watch him on first down.
Huh?
Watch him on first down. 3 of his 4 interceptions this season have come on first down. And he dropped one on first down. So he could have 4 interceptions on first down specifically. Keep an eye on that this weekend.
So that's his thing. That's a good stat. That's a good stat.
Little teaser.
Yeah. Okay, so health-wise, Hudson Clement, I mentioned Nestor out. Hudson Clement, maybe not. I would think it sounds definite for next week, but it'll be a game timer for Hudson Clement. There's other young guys are coming along. Traylon Ray is good to go. He was a question mark. He's good to go. How about the Rodney Gallagher effect?
I was just going to say, can Rodney Gallagher get more involved in the passing game this week? Mixed him in again last week, and you can see it's there. You can see that when he gets some more reps underneath him, he's going to be able to pop and make some plays that make you go, wow, starting to come. Can you get him the ball through the air a little bit more? They've been mixing it in on the run, throw it a little bit more. I think E.J. Horton's been coming along too. He's starting to be a pretty reliable receiving threat. Then, of course, Stedman Fox, when he goes into his receiving role, has been very good as well. Stedman Fox, when he's in the receiving role. Dual nickname guy.
Oh, Preston Fox. You call him Stedman Fox.
Yeah, well, he's performing like Stedman.
I thought it was Pac-Man Fox.
When he returns punts, he's Pac-Man Fox. When he goes to the receiver, because Pac-Man only played receiver for a few plays.
Yeah,
when he goes to receiver and makes those catches, like when he's on his back, or when he went up on the one against Houston, he turns into Stedman Fox, who, of course, should have won the Biletnikoff Award, one of the all-time great screw jobs in college sports.
Right up there with Kevin Jones not winning Big East Player of the Year.
Right there.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Didn't Geno Smith get screwed out of Offensive Player of the Year, too, in Big East? Yeah.
Yeah, that was when we were leaving the league.
Yeah.
They weren't going to give it to him.
Flat out hosed him.
Whatever happened to Geno?
I think he did all right.
Yeah.
Selling insurance or something, maybe?
He probably not thinking a whole lot about that award right now. Right?
Did all right.
Probably not. Okay, we uncovered another stat about the BYUs that was interesting, but then it got diluted.
It did. Thank goodness it got diluted.
So I gave that stat, by the way, to Neil. And he went like, really?
Did you give him the nickname? The brand that's going by?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
What did the head coach say when you gave him that stat?
He goes, is that right? Yeah, I said, yeah, it's right. And he goes like, I'm writing that one down. He goes, I got to get that to the team. They're 8-0 in their last 8 November games.
Oh, is that the one you're talking about?
Is that what it was? Which one are you talking about? Nighttime, the Vampire?
I'm talking about the Vampire Cougars.
Okay, go ahead. Give it to me.
Yeah, so the Vampire Cougars are such named because they are 20-1 over their last 21 night games. 20-1 for the BYU Vampire Cougars, which I didn't love that stat when I first heard it. Obviously, game's at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
So then
5 o'clock Mountain.
So then we talked to their announcer,
Greg Wrubell. The bulk of those have come at home. It's like 17-1 over their last 18 night home games. So kind of takes that down just a little bit.
Yeah,
there.
my stat was they've won their last 8 straight games in the month of November. And when we were talking to Greg, he went, yeah, but we were independent. So you were playing your Power Fives early in the season before they went into their league schedule, and then we were left to play the teams that were of lesser Power Five value in the month of November. So that's a little deceiving.
Yeah, so 2 stats that maybe are watered down just a little bit.
Yeah, just a hair there. All right, you ready to do your thing?
Yeah, let's go.
You sure?
Yep.
Now, you're sitting over where Hoppy normally sits. Does that rule out you bringing the glasses, or do you still have the glasses?
Glasses are ready. Stats are ready. Glasses ready.
Let's do this thing.
Check the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes the heater.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Spreads on Stats with the Senator Brad Howes, brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They've been in business here in the state of West Virginia since 1985. They serve clients all across the state and in the surrounding states. What their slogan is this: value beyond the numbers. What does that mean? Well, what that means is there's so much more than just a place where you just like push your receipts for the year and your W-2s and your W-9s across the table and go, hey, can you do my taxes? They're at a different level. Like they're at a different level than that. They give you so much more than the numbers. They learn about you, what your world is, the challenges that you face, and then they can do it all. From your tax planning and preparation, audit and assurance, consulting and advisory. Plus, if need be, they'll outsource your accounting and your CFO services. All sizes able to free up time to focus on their business as Conley CPA Group. All right, boom, we played all the way to the end of the music. Senator, do you have numbers that are going to make us go like, whoa?
I think I do.
Oh.
I think I do. So we're going to dive right in. And we're going to go back to our old trusty number one defensive key.
Havoc rate.
I haven't used Havoc rate much this year.
Some guy came up to me last week in Orlando.
Mrs. Havoc rate?
He goes to me, goes like, hey, love the podcast. He goes, Brad has not been bringing out Havoc rate much this year. I said, I'll look into it. I don't know exactly why. Why haven't you?
He's right. He's right. Moved on to some other stats. But the Havoc rate includes tackles for loss and sacks on the quarterback,
right,
pass breakups, interceptions. So we've been talking about it, just not putting it under one umbrella of Havoc rate. I think I've only done it for one show. But I'm going to get back to part of the Havoc rate that we've talked about every game with this defense. It is the key. It's the biggest difference in this defense when it looks good versus when it looks like it's struggling, and that's getting pressure on the quarterback. So you ready to dive in on your ability to get pressure on BYU's quarterback, by the way, is a guy you've seen before.
Yeah,
I was just
going to bring him up. Sometimes I remember stuff right and sometimes I don't. It changes. Did he use derogatory commentary regarding West Virginia University last year prior to the contest against Pitt?
He did. He was Pitt's starting quarterback, former USC quarterback,
sure,
transferred to Pitt. I think got hung up in the rivalry there, in the emotion of the rivalry, and the West Virginia giving the eat bleep Pitt back to them. Got a little fired up and may have dropped a profane word or two once.
Well, that wasn't nice.
Well,
here he comes, an outsider from the West Coast. He didn't know anything about the rivalry, and for him to say that?
It's a big rivalry.
Still, Garrett's not out there saying bad things, potty mouth stuff.
He was not saying potty mouth stuff. That happens. What are you going to do? So anyway, Keaton Slovis has returned.
Now, you don't think Neil would run that video to the team or anything like that?
I don't know if he has that. I don't know if he'd have that.
Okay.
Maybe.
And if that guy at Michigan on that sideline was working for him, he'd have it. He got everything else.
Well, they would have had it before Slovis even said
it. Hey, he's thinking about saying this. All right, go ahead.
Allegedly. All right, let's get into some pressure on Slovis. Do we think West Virginia can get to BYU quarterback Keaton Slovis? I think they can, Tony. Here's why. Are you ready? Bear with me. Dig in. I'm going through a lot of stuff. Here we go.
Okay.
Slovis has the second most dropbacks under pressure in the Big 12. Okay. Here's what's interesting. Quarterbacks, there's a stat out there you can niche down where the pressure's coming from, who's responsible for giving up the pressure.
Right.
And quarterbacks sometimes own some of that, right? That might not be on the linemen. They're the ones that always get blamed, but sometimes it's on the quarterback.
How they slide.
Quarterbacks responsible for their most owned pressures in the league, and tell me if you see a similarity here. I'll go in order of which quarterback's responsible for their most owned pressures. Donovan Smith, Houston. Baron Morton, Texas Tech, along with Tyler Shuck. Blake Shapen, Baylor. And then Slovis. Those are your top 4 or 5, how many I named. West Virginia got to Smith in the first half. Didn't in the second, lost the game. Got to the Texas Tech quarterbacks, won the game. Haven't seen Baylor yet. Baylor's been struggling. Slovis is next up on that list, so that he's fitting into that category of quarterbacks that West Virginia's been able to get some pressure on.
He's not going to run away from you.
No, Tony, thanks for bringing that up. He only has 4 quarterback scrambles on the entire year.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in the pocket. You're going to be able to identify where he is, get by your guy, and get home and get a little pressure on him. Outside of the quarterback being responsible for his own pressures, the right tackle spot is the one that's giving up the most pressure. That comes against West Virginia's left side rushers. We've been through this before. There seems to be a matchup that comes up time and time again. That's Sean Martin and Jared Bartlett, most notably. West Virginia has 3 of the top 30 pass rushers in the Big 12 when it comes to total pressures from the left side.
3 of the top
Lathan's 1. So you got 2 in this game here that are coming, okay? So here's the catch, though.
Uh-oh.
Over the last 2 games, we're not the only ones that have these numbers. I think the coaches actually look at this too, maybe a little bit.
Right.
So they know that pressure's coming, that those 2 guys are good pressure guys. Over the last 2 games, just 2 total pressures combined from Martin and Bartlett. You saw that there was a play last week on the TV broadcast that illustrated this really well. Sean Martin comes off and fires in and is immediately double-teamed and stood up. So Sean Martin wasn't effective on that play, probably didn't grade on that play. Of course, he had 2 guys on him. Right. But you know what it did? Opened up a massive hole like the size of the hole between you and I right now, and Ben Cutter flew right in there for a quarterback pressure. So Martin doesn't have the numbers over the last couple games. Doesn't mean those guys aren't contributing.
Yep, correct.
But keep an eye on that right tackle spot. West Virginia should be able to get some pressure in through there. Here's the other part of why pressure has been prevalent on Keaton Slovis. He has the most pass attempts in the Big 12 when holding the ball for 2.5 seconds or more. So the opposite.
You run that again?
Most pass attempts in the Big 12 that are over 2.5 seconds or more. So the quarterback holding the ball for 2.5 seconds or more. You remember Alan Bowman from Oklahoma State, we had talked about going into that game. Pressure on him would be difficult. One of the reasons why.
2 seconds.
He got rid of the ball under 2.5 seconds every time. He just didn't have the ball very often. So here's the catch-22. Slovis is going to hold it a little bit longer so you can have a chance to get home, but you better get home because when you don't, he's really effective. 11 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions when holding the ball for 2.5 seconds or more. That's the most touchdown throws in that category in the league. So little feast or famine there. If he's back there and you're not getting to him and he has all day, he's going to make some really good throws on you.
Sure.
Now, he also has the most turnover-worthy plays in the Big 12 on throws taking longer than 2.5 seconds. So he'll throw some dimes, but you can also get some picks in there too. Second in total pressures on throws of 2.5 seconds or more. So you're getting in there. But his pressure to sack ratio, that's kind of a new one. Pressure to sack ratio is pretty low. So you can get in there. You may not have a lot of sacks, savvy enough to get rid of the ball as well. But those numbers all tell me you've got a chance to get home. Beat your block, get home.
That's all good stuff there. That's all good stuff.
Okay, so there's the pressure rates. I think you get home. I think you can make him uncomfortable. And again, that's the key. When we've seen West Virginia go through that 4-game winning streak, it relied a lot on the pressure. That helps the defensive backs. That's where interceptions start to come. It's super important that West Virginia gets some pressure on Keaton Slovis.
Would you agree that TFLs and sacks at nighttime are much more exciting and much more appreciated by the crowd?
Maybe it just gets louder in those moments.
I just think they're special. I just think they look different. Like a sack at I'm just telling you, a sack at night, like a sack at 12:25 in the afternoon, it's a nice thing. It's a sack. But for some reason, a sack at 7:47 p.m. where a quarterback's like trying to, and it's just like he gets grabbed and thrown down, the crowd just goes, there's just a higher level of energy.
Is that
it's something about nighttime? It's something about getting run down at night. I just think that's what it is.
Is that scientific or anecdotal?
No, anecdotal.
Oh.
If Hoppy was here, he'd definitely call it anecdotal. I just think there are. Doug Flutie got sacked at night. That's one of the all-time great sacks. Donovan McNabb, he got sacked at night. That was one of the all-time greats. Fill in the blanks of your all-time great sacks. Most of them happen at night, unscientifically. Go ahead.
Didn't have that in the segment, but watch for that. Thank you, Tony. Couple.
I'm going to get a T-shirt for 3 guys. I love nighttime sacks. All right.
Fair enough. That'll be a good seller. Watch for pressure on first down.
From them?
From them. And that plays into what I give you earlier on Beanie Bishop. A lot of interceptions on first down. Mm-hmm. Watch bringing pressure on first down. Here's why. Slovis is 3rd in the Big 12 in first down pass attempts. So they like to throw it on first down.
Okay.
He's faced the most pressure on first down in the Big 12 because they like to throw it a lot, so that would make some sense. Slovis has one of the worst EPA marks in the league on first down. EPA, expected points added, so it's a measure of how successful each play is. He's got one of the lowest in the league on first down. So that's a down, a bunch of things there. They're going to throw it a lot on first down. You can get pressure on him, and Beanie Bishop likes to pick the ball off on first down. So that's important. Watch first down coming up on Saturday.
You know, if Beanie gets a first down interception on Saturday, people are going to be just like, it will take you to a whole new level of spreads on stats.
I'm just saying it may not happen, but that's been the most common time when to get it.
Like if he gets a first down interception on Saturday, in organized crime terms, you would become a made man. Well, no one would ever be able to touch you again. It's just like, nah, don't. He's a made man.
You say we won't get to episode 800. I won't be here for 502 if he gets it on. That'll be a walk-off. I'll see you. You can also come get him on third down, too, another passing down. The worst EPA on third down passing in the league is BYU and Keaton Slovis in particular. That includes every quarterback that's taken at least one snap. He's 33rd on that list in EPA. So they have not been successful on third down. And it ties back into when you get pressure is when you keep teams in passing downs. When you can assume they're going to throw it, you can call your blitzes. You can pin your ears back. You can come get them. First and third, keep an eye on it.
I shouldn't ask you this. Have 33 different quarterbacks thrown a ball in the Big 12 this year?
It's more than that, yeah. Yeah, at least one snap.
Is that wild?
Yeah, it's unbelievable when you start to go down the list. Yeah. There's a lot of dudes that have played.
Okay.
All right, so that's the defensive side of things. Get some pressure in those specific matchups, get some turnovers, roll to a win. Let's transition over to West Virginia's offense for a second. I'll kind of get through this quickly. I know we want to get Charles Wesley in here with us. But let's talk Garrett Green for a second. You mentioned earlier how great he's been playing. We've talked about him each week. He's just been the driver of this engine for West Virginia. He's been outstanding. Here's some numbers to back that up. Now, excuse me. I've got so many. I'm going to have to go to multiple devices here to keep track of all the great numbers.
We're going to need to get you some more monitors.
Huh?
We can get you another monitor.
Yeah, we try and take the thing on the road. You got to be a little bit mobile. So I got multiple devices here for this one. Couple things. Garrett leads the Big 12 in big-time throw percentage. So these are the turnover-worthy plays and big-time throw percentage stats are PFF's proprietary numbers that it's not just touchdowns and interceptions. Sometimes you make an unbelievably great throw, and it doesn't turn into a touchdown, and it may turn into a turnover. Neither were your fault, right? Should have been a touch. So it's a little bit more in the weeds than a touchdown interception. Let me say it again. He leads the Big 12 in big-time throw percentage. You know how massive that is for a guy you weren't sure of in his first year as a starting quarterback
100%.
To come in 2/3 of the season and still be holding on to that number?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So leads the Big 12, Big 10 throw percentage. Here's what's equally as important, maybe more important than that stat. He is 16th in the Big 12. 16th. How many teams are there?
This year?
Yeah.
A dozen.
Or is there 14?
Same thing.
Whatever. Or 12. 14.
There's 12.
Whatever.
No.
There's 14.
There's 14. Two of them are leaving. Yeah, there's 14.
There's 14. He's 16th in the Big 12 in turnover-worthy plays. So basically as good as you can get. Only Quinn Ewers is the lone starter in this league who has less turnover-worthy plays at the quarterback position than Garrett Green.
That's a wild stat.
That's a wild stat.
That's
and
wild.
And a huge credit to him in this offense.
Let's go back to August. What was our concern?
That was the whole question, and it plays in nicely because I don't know how many times I said it. I'm sure people were tired of me saying it. We kept saying if he can limit turnovers, if Garrett limits turnovers, then Neal can get to page 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the playbook. You can run more, obviously, when you trust that your quarterback's not going to turn it over. What are you seeing with Neal and his play calling? It's tremendous. Multiple different sets, motion, different plays each game, right? That was one of the criticisms. Oh, it's not creative enough. You don't want to run the same play all the time. Are you saying that this year? No. Your quarterback's doing an unbelievable job. That allows everything else to work. He's just been tremendous. Here's the other part. I said he was playing at an all Big 12 level. He's got the second best overall grade for a quarterback in this league from
Excuse
PFF.
me? Say that again.
Second best overall offensive grade for a quarterback in this league. Remarkable.
How about that?
Remarkable.
Say that one more time just to make it 3.
Second best overall grade among Big 12 quarterbacks per PFF.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, 2 more quick things here. The other part of the UCF game that stood out, we talked about this in episode 500. Defensive coordinators now are having to determine what you want to take away from West Virginia. UCF decided to take the deep ball away. Garrett only had 2 attempts over 20 yards. One of them was on the first play of the game. They forced him to throw underneath. We've heard Neal talk about Garrett needs to keep improving on his underneath accuracy. Right? You know what he did against them? Just responded with one of his highest completion percentages, might be in his career, 61% underneath.
Should have been over 70.
Yes. Had some drops in there.
Yes.
So, okay, fine. You want to take the deep ball away? I'll throw it underneath. Just 2 interceptions on the year, which is really 1. I think this might be the last time I say 2 interceptions. He has 1 interception. He's only been sacked 4 times all season in 8 games. So a lot of credit to that offensive line, but also his ability to get outside the pocket. Those work in conjunction. So now you're telling me your quarterback is not turning it over. He's not taking sacks. The offense doesn't penalize itself very much, 4.5 penalties per game total. You wonder why you're having some success? Mm-hmm. That's 3 pretty key areas. One last thing offensively. Ready?
Yeah, I'm with you.
The aforementioned Nick Malone. And again, we didn't talk about this.
Nick's terrific.
Watch BYU's left side pressure coming against Nick Malone, inserted, assuming into the starting lineup for Doug Nestor at the right tackle. You'll also have some right guard too, but watch Nick Malone. BYU has 3 players in the top 30, just like West Virginia, when it comes to pressure from the left side. So Malone is not only, if he plays, is going to have an important role as he normally would, especially big against this group. They've got some guys that can come from the left side.
May have to have some shared property between Nick Malone and Traylon Davis this week.
You'll probably get somebody offset over there.
Offset,
get some help on that
back
side.
on there and give him. So you might see a little 81 there next to Nick. By the way, I hit a personal high today, 7.5 over under. Huh?
What's that mean?
7. I had a self bet when we started.
Like just in your own head?
In my own head. 7.5 times you would take your glasses off and on.
What was the number?
Paid at 8.5. Because you made one jerk, so I called that the half.
The thing is, so they're for reading. They're reading glasses.
Uh-huh.
So helps me when I see the screen here. But when I look up at you, I can't see you. It's blurry. Now, sometimes if I'm going right back to the screen, I just leave them and I fight through the blurriness.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it kind of annoys me, so I got to go on.
It was 7.5, and I think
that's nice, sturdy glasses. So I can go on and off without any breakage.
I never thought Clark Kent would give those up, but the fact that he did.
Well, I mean, he doesn't sell them, but they came from Fine Look and Phil.
Excuse me?
Now he doesn't sell eyewear.
Well, what does that mean? He doesn't sell eyewear.
Well, I just walked in one day. He said, "Here, I got something for you."
Oh, he gave them to you.
Like a vest or maybe some new pants or something.
Yeah.
Tie occasionally.
Right.
Gave me glasses.
That was awfully nice of him.
That was very nice of him.
You think he's branching out into optical here?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a one-time deal, but they work great.
I'll tell you this. When Fine Look and Phil needs a new phone system, he's going to Comax because the folks at Comax can do any kind of phone system when it comes to your business, whether it's one line or 1,000 phone lines. If it's time for you and your business, you know you need a new phone system. Have the folks in your business been saying to you, hey, boss/owner, you know, these phones, it's a little bit old. It's done what it could do. It can't do what it needs to do. Well, give Comax an opportunity to come in. They'll give you a free price quote. They are competitively priced, and they will take care of you. We jump over from digital phone lines, ComaxWV.com, to the boat. The folks over there at Lou Wendell, you got it. I'm just telling you what, before this bad boy goes away, let us give it to you. 2023 Avalon 2385 Entertainer. Top of the line tri-tune model. You can use it for anything you want on the water, from pulling the raft to pulling the tube to water skiing, entertaining family and friends. It is, in the young person's parlance, it's pimped out. I mean, it's really, really nice, real nice. And it's available to you, plus got a Honda 150 on it. 3 guys before the game special price is $89,774. Go over there to Lou Wendell in St. Albans if you want to see it in person. Tell them you're a 3 Guys listener. That's what qualifies you for the deal. Check it out. And did I mention that Lou Wendell Marine Sales is award-winning?
2-time award winner, I think.
2-time.
This year.
Best in the Valley, best in the tri-state area. So check it out. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Hey, guess what? It's time. Yeah. Textual Healing is brought to us by Episode800.com. Episode800.com, where you can get all of our 3 Guys merch, swag, and soon coming up, we're getting ready for our Christmas special. Yeah, More details on that coming up. Three Guys Special. All right, let's cut to the set.
You're going to stop right there, right? You weren't going to say anything else.
Well, we're going to debut our new coffee. Was I not supposed to bring these in yet?
No, that's why I was happy you were stopping on the Christmas thing. I thought we were just done and moving on. You're supposed to stop.
This guy here next to me, by the way, Mountaineer Roasting is the new Three Guys coffee that we're featuring. Is this the prototype stuff?
That was a sample for us to look at. This is not for air. Why do you do this? It's not done yet.
We're going to have it available for you in November called Game Day Grind. It's absolutely off the chart good. It's light roast, and to be quite honest with you, it's got chocolate caramel and it's balanced. I drank some this morning.
That's my favorite spot. My wife and I, we go there all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. There he is, Charles Wesley Godwin.
Hey.
He's in. Here's a guy, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm a big fan.
Charles and I, speaking of coffee, cowboy coffee.
Yeah.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming, a couple weeks ago.
It wasn't a Mountaineer, though.
No, it wasn't.
To be honest, I travel all across the country, and that's something that we treat ourselves to. We get a good cup of coffee in the mornings before we head to the next town. And, so I get really good coffee. Seattle, Portland, L.A., New York, wherever. Milwaukee. Mountaineer Roasters is right up there with the best in the country.
As good as it gets.
Yeah. It doesn't. I'm never anywhere, and I'm like, oh, this is way better than anything I've ever had. No, when I go home, like, this is as good as anybody's coffee, which is pretty cool to have that in Morgantown.
It is. It's true. It is true. This is a thrill for us to have you.
Yeah, dude. Like I was telling you guys, I've been listening since you've been doing the show. All the years, driving town to town alone with the dogs, then with the band. It's been a constant.
Your story, man, is just like out of a book. I mean, this is like it's going to make a heck of a movie. It's going to make a heck of a movie one of these days because Charles is a Morgantown native. And well, we always say he went to school over at the high school. And every time, the reason I point over there is because if you did go through that back wall, I mean, just probably 3 good shots, 2 driver hits, and probably about a 7. Yeah. Probably a 7. You're probably over at Morgantown High.
Yeah, and I mean the freshman practice field is right across the stream there. So,
exactly right. So
many days down there.
So I knew him when he was just like a teeny tot because he kind of is between my boys' ages.
Yeah.
So with basketball, mate, you were the basketball. He was point guard, and then you played football over at the high school, and it was good because like you were tough. You were undersized, but you were a tough ass. And that's what always stood out to me long before the musical career started. I mean, he sticks his face. You're a stick the face in the fan guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my favorite part about football. You can legally, physically punish other folks. And, that's a lot of therapy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But I wasn't very good. And like you said, I was undersized. So, it wasn't in my cards to ever really be at a high level.
Okay, well, you say you weren't that good, but obviously you were good enough to get opportunities to walk on to the Mountaineer football program.
No.
Now, come on. Now, let's go through the story.
Okay, I'll tell you guys straight. And it's always embarrassing to like talk about this, but it's a fact of my story. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me too, looking back on it. But, I really, really wanted to play college football, and I had really good grades, and I had a good junior year in high school. So I was getting recruited by like Ivy League type of places in Hillsdale, which is a D2
Michigan.
school up there in Michigan. So I was kind of like, that probably was what my best case scenario would have been. Go out there my senior year, pop a hamstring in the summertime, and then just keep trying to come back too early and just keep tearing it throughout the season. And I was never anything to write home to mom about. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to walk on for the Mountaineers. I still want to make this happen. Yeah. I'll get healthy.
Coach is who then?
Bill Stu.
Okay, Stu.
Bill Stu. And so I went out there and, I tried out my freshman year of college and, gave it my best go. And, it wasn't in the cards for me. I didn't make it. It wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Then I tried out 2 more times with Dana. And again, just never looked good enough without pads on.
So what did Dana say? Nah, not pretty good.
Oh no, I didn't even get. And Dana never acknowledged my existence. Bill Stew knew me from high school, though, and he was nice enough to even come up and say hi to me that morning, I remember. But, yeah, it was never in the cards, and, by 3 years in, the eligibility's running up. And, I faced reality, and that was where my first dream died.
Yeah.
And that's a valuable lesson, though, for everybody to have those moments in life.
Absolutely. So you're a business major at WVU.
Mm-hmm.
And finance major, and you graduate from there. So this is when the thing gets real interesting music-wise, okay? And this might be the one that people go like, wait a second. Because obviously, if you're in music, then your dad had to be a musician, your mom had to be a musician, you had to come from a family musician, but you had never played an instrument.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up playing or singing, but me, Nathan Colombo, Sam Angotti, your all's neighbors here
Right.
in the parking lot. We picked up instruments. Yeah, they're our junior year of college as hobbies, things to get into. You're just trying to find things to do with our time because none of us are playing sports anymore. And then I just got very lucky. I found the one thing that I had talent for. I was a natural when it came to music, especially once I started singing and writing. So that's how I found it. So I didn't find it until I was 20 years old.
Okay, back up, because that part, that to me, that's the most unbelievable part. So like in second grade, you weren't like carrying home a violin and you got to go do the rental sheet, rental form from school or any of that?
No, I wouldn't even sing in church. I just thought I probably can't sing. I just assumed, and you're embarrassed too. You never open your mouth in front of people like to sing. So I didn't know any of that. Had no idea. But once I picked it up, I found a love for it. And the whole way it happened too was the 2011 Grammys. I'm just watching them on TV, and the Avett Brothers perform a song, and I'm like, wow, that was incredible. And then they play with Bob Dylan, another song, and I'm just like, man, maybe I should pick up a guitar. That'd be something I could do in the evenings, because I always have hunted and fished, but you can't do that every day when you're going to class in Morgantown and stuff. So that's how it started. Picked it up as a hobby, and then it just snowballed through the rest of college there to us playing, bar gigs at what used to be Chicken Bones over there.
That was that group was called
Schmidt's Saloon.
That was Vandalia.
I remember.
So that was Nathan Colombo, Sam Angotti.
There were times you'd have that cranked on the studio system in here. The true Charles Wesley. Seriously,
I'm glad it's under a different name
because he'd have the thing blaring in here.
I tell him still to this day.
100%.
It's here. I listen to it when I fly home at night, late nights. I put it on. I tell them all the time. I put it on my headsets. I put the Vandalia album on, and I just that's what I listen to.
That's true.
And so you guys.
Well, hold on real quick here. We gotta go back to this. Like in 5th grade, you weren't ever just like singing along to something on the radio, and someone went, "Hey, you're a really good singer."
No.
Never.
You
were just playing sports. Music wasn't even a thought.
Yeah. I was just a local yokel kid that just really wanted to be good at sports, and it just wasn't in the cards.
So what was the first time you sang something and someone went, "Oh, hey, hold on here"?
The moment that kind of changed my life was I was on West Virginia has a good study abroad program, and I was under the Promise Scholarship, so I was still going to school for free here, and they have a great study abroad program, and I'd never been abroad, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just take advantage of this stuff. It's just kind of this interesting time in my life where I gave up that dream, and I'm just kind of just exploring all this new stuff. And so I went over there, and they're advising me on these different places I can go around the world where I could still have credits towards a finance degree. So I didn't want to go over there and just not take any steps forward. So it was between Hertfordshire, England, Bamberg, Germany, Tartu, Estonia, and Hong Kong. There are 4 universities where you could go, and I could still get credits towards my degree. And I kind of looked at each one of those and ended up landing on Tartu as being the best fit for being exotic and different language, different part of the world, but still not so far off the deep end that I felt like I could still go there and function and find comfort and find my space. Where a West Virginia kid maybe going abroad for the first time, maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to go to Hong Kong for half a year. You know what I mean? That might be a little too much in the deep end. Sure. And then Hertfordshire, England felt a little too shallow there. You know, I could go there right now and go about my day without any problem. But Tartu is a nice in between there with being a little exotic and having experience. So I guess the point of the story is that when I was over there, I brought my guitar and keep practicing in the evenings. And I had 5 other flatmates I was living with, so they couldn't help but hear that when I just do my regular 15 or 20 minutes in the evening. They enjoyed that. It made me a little uncomfortable, but that's just where I live, so there wasn't anywhere else for me to go.
It's not like you can walk around Tartu and find a place to jam. I mean,
that was the most privacy I could find, that just right there in my own room. So we went to a show one night, and one of my roommates, Balam, he's from Mexico City, took my guitar out of the room after I already left with a couple of the American buddies I made over there, and brought my guitar to the show. Show ends. It's like a little place like 1, 2, 3, kind of to picture it. And after the show ends, he runs up on stage, and they had not cut the mic yet. And Balam says for me to go up there and sing, and somehow convinces the room to start chanting Charlie, to go up there and sing a song. And I'm freaking out, and I'm shaking in my jeans. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because you've never played outside your room at this point.
Yeah, and I'm kind of doing the math in my, or like with Nate and Sam and Gotti at Nate's old apartment. And so like, it was never intended to be in public in that way. And I'm kind of doing the math in my head. I'm like, at this point, it's probably worse if I wuss out and just do this. Just sing one. Or else I just felt like it was going to be worse if I just at that
walk
point.
off. You can't walk off.
Yeah. At that point, you kind of got to just do it. It's like riding the bull at the wedding. It's like, what are you going to do? Everybody's chanting. You better get up there and ride it.
And so the competitor, and here comes the football player. Is that right? You want to challenge me? Here we go. I got to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went up and sang a song or two, and it went well. And then that was a Friday. The next Monday, I got a Facebook message from a fashion designer there in town. And she said, I'm having a fashion show this Friday, and I'd love you to play the music for the models to walk to. Can you fill 20 minutes? I was like, I can fill 20 minutes.
Oh,
she's like, I'll pay you €150. I'm like, deal. That's a ton of money at 20 years old. And so I go there and play my first gig. It turned out to be a lingerie fashion show. And it was in this cafe and had this courtyard in the middle, and there were French doors on each end of the cafe, and the models would walk out through the crowd, and then they'd walk through the other French doors into the next outfit, and it was a show for 20 minutes. Got paid €150. Drinks were on me that night, and then that changed my whole life. I was like, that was
your epiphany.
Yeah, I was like, this is the easiest money I've ever made. That was kind of fun. I got over the nerves. The nerves weren't like, I didn't freeze. I'm able to I could do it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to do some more of this, when I get back. So I played some more gigs over there. Then I came back, started the band with Nate and Sam, and we started playing bar gigs for the rest of our time in college. And then I just never looked back. Started writing songs and then just trying to figure my way out in this world. How does this work? And, it took a decade.
That's remarkable.
It is amazing.
That's remarkable.
So
that was the start.
Yeah. Did you write West Virginia Highway overseas?
No.
Where were you? Did you write something in Italy?
I was probably, I don't know. I can't remember, Tony, but that was the first stuff.
What does it?
I just no. Please don't. And I'm very. Things have worked out very well for me.
Why does that? Why does? Because your voice, you're different. Why? When you look back at your young stuff, what is it that? Because everyone does. Like I can't listen.
You do that all the time.
I can't listen. I cannot listen to my play-by-play from when I started. It makes me make me puke.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I'm right there with you. It's just what.
Okay, so what does it mean for you to have lyrics that you've written in a tattoo on Nathan Adrian's back?
That's awesome.
It's true.
And you know what, Nate can take comfort in this. He's not the last one. There's a lot of people now but that's cool.
He has, if I wake in West Virginia, I'll be.
I have one or something.
I have one. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I
wish you would have waited, a few more years to get some of the last few albums.
You've got some new lyrics. You'd rather have them on there instead.
Yeah, but it's cool, and he can always say that it's in the music world how it is, where people are like, oh, I knew so and so.
Yeah,
that's like a thing. He can definitely say that without a doubt.
This is like asking which one of your kids you like most. But give me one or two lyrics that you've written that you love the most.
That I love the most. There's the one in the car that I told you the other day. It's always the newest thing.
That's what I was trying to get to. Because I forget what it was.
I can't remember either what that was.
You write every day now.
Yeah. Oh, that was a new song, and
he gave it to me.
It was about a guy that his woman's left him, or they've broken up, and he's saying, Time healed wounds are the kind I fear. I want to stay right when you stood right here.
Yeah.
So, the meaning behind something like that is how some people, if you're going through a heartbreak or something, you're sad and you feel bad about it, but you also don't want to move on, because it's almost better to have that hurt feeling. It's almost closer to what you want than being so far away where you've moved on past it.
Yeah.
So that's like a way of saying that in in an artsy way.
I love it. So football wise, you've never left your passion for the Mountaineers, and you get an opportunity in August to speak to the team. You were at practice.
You're standing right by you.
We're just hanging out with you, and Neil gave you the heads. Hey, we're gonna be breaking here in just a little bit. I'd like you to come over, and you had nothing scripted. You had some ideas in your head, and that became kind of viral. If you would, play a little bit of this, Luke. This is Charles right when the Mountaineers were practicing in August. It was one of those deals where it's kind of like mid-practice, and it's time to go. And you went up there, and you became bummed out about the 14th place preseason prediction.
Yeah, so Neil was like, "Hey, you want to say something?" I'm like, I didn't really know what I would say, and I know some of the guys on the team are fans of mine, but a lot of them have no idea who I am. They're not country music fans and don't know. So I'm like, I don't know, like, I can't go up there and talk to them about myself, because that's not really going to connect with them. So I was like, what do I say to a bunch of kids that try to make any kind of impact, any positive impact?
Right. I got it. Let's take a little look here.
Yeah,
okay.
so,
go ahead and roll that. Roll it.
And so I want you to give a big welcome to WVU and Morgantown, Charles Wesley Godwin.
Hey guys, I'm not one for big speeches and all, but I know a lot of you don't know who I am, some of you do. But really the point is I've made it to the pros in my chosen profession. I've gotten in very exclusive territory, and I guess what I'm just here to tell you all is a lot of people doubt you outside these facilities, outside this town, outside of this state, outside of your fan base. A lot of folks are underestimating each and every one of y'all. A couple years ago, I played a festival in Kentucky that I felt very disrespected by. There's a few acts that were booked after me later that day, after me and my guys, that should not have been where they were. And we were booked in the 2:20 slot in the afternoon. And I used that as a gift. I took that as an opportunity to get my guys fired up before we stepped on stage every time for the next year. Every time we go out on stage, we needed nothing else but 2:20. That's all we said. And we go out there and we become one of the best live acts in the country now. So I guess what I'm here to tell you guys is each and every one of you were exceptional at every level that you've ever played at in your life. You've all won at every level you've played at, right? You guys have won championships, all state. You're going to be Hall of Famers in your high school. They picked you all 14th. They picked you 14th. They must have forgot who you are. You have the bodies, you have the speed, you have the physicality, and all you need is the mentality when you step on that field. And you guys, there shouldn't be anything else that needs said this year before you step on the field to get your absolute best, other than 14. 14. I know you guys are better than that. I believe in you. You guys are going to kill it, and I think you're going to have one of the best seasons you ever had in your life. This is going to be one of those seasons you never forget, and you're going to love every guy that's part of this team, part of this staff, part of this whole program. Y'all are going to have a connection like you've never had before, because this is going to be a special year. But you guys got an opportunity. You got a gift. Them picking you all 14th, that's a Christmas gift right there. Open that up and pull it out before every game. All right? I think you guys are going to have a great season. I wish you all the best. I'm going to be watching every game, and I wish you all nothing but the best.
It may have been an edited version.
But yeah, you're trying to think of what to say to a bunch of kids, and I guess the best thing that I could think of is to try to share a little bit of, and this isn't the only way, but there's certain mentalities that people have to have in life to succeed. There's things that help people get along. What you're talking about with Nick Malone there earlier,
right?
Getting his scholarship pulled. There's certain ways that people can react to situations like that, and everybody comes across stuff like that in their life. There's certain ways that you can react to those situations that you can turn it into an asset or a deficit in your life. And so I was just sharing with them just a little something about how you can twist things in your head to make things work in your favor, because it's very rare in life where the path is paved nice and clean ahead of you. So
good point.
I've learned a lot of things in the decade I've been doing this, and I've accomplished some pretty cool things that I never thought I would be able to, and that was just the best thing that I could think of there in the moment.
Great.
Try to share with those kids so that maybe they can absorb a little bit of that, apply it to their lives, to this season, and start down that path of succeeding and winning. And I think they're doing a great job.
You mentioned the Avits. The Avits piqued your interest. So you run around with those guys now. You see those guys at times.
They're going to be on that Luke Combs tour next year.
They're going to be on that Luke Combs tour.
I'm looking. I haven't gotten to meet them yet, so I'm looking forward to meeting them.
How about that?
DC will be the first one to be together. And, I can't wait to meet him.
You're doing stadium tours, dude, with Luke Combs.
Yeah.
You're doing stadium tours.
Yeah. Luke and I played a show here in Morgantown before, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played at Schmidt Saloon, January 2016.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, but a lot of folks in Morgantown would have liked to have been at that show now.
Is it amazing or what?
Yeah.
You ready to do some of this textual healing? I mean, you're a regular listener. When you run, you go 5 miles?
I go for at least a 5K, and then I've been doing 10Ks pretty consistently lately and kind of building my way up to that marathon mileage. I'm going to do
Is that what you want to do?
Do a marathon.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I'll do one next year. Looking at there's one up in Massachusetts. I got like a little run club I started on the Strava app.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pick one somewhere in the country and do a show the night before, and then run the race the next day with run club members that'll travel in and make a fun thing of it. It would be good to have a marathon hanging over my head each year, and that way
physical condition.
You're forced to kind of stay. Woo. You can never let yourself get too far away from having to ramp back up for it, which I think that's a good thing.
Look at this, dude. Physical conditioning is allowing Mick Jagger to perform in his 80s. Same thing with you. When you're 80, you're going to be in great shape.
Yeah. I look at Bruce Springsteen's a big inspiration for me, and he's in his mid-70s and still putting on 3-hour shows and doing it. And I want to do this as long as I'm physically able to. So I'm going to try to help myself as much as I can.
All right, let's jump into some of these things. Ready? That's your script right there, by the way. You get a script for free. You get to keep that. Keep that on your way home.
I think I recognize this from Sunday. Have you ever stood by Shaq?
Yeah, this is coming. So here, drove down with my buddy from South Carolina this weekend to watch the Mountaineers and get back on track against the Fighting Pegasus. Awesome game. Probably 20% of the stadium was West Virginia fans. As we're walking out of the stadium, we take one last look at the stadium, and it said, the ceremonial thanks for having us to the bounce house. The guy beside us wearing the gold and blue starts to laugh. I asked him if he was a Three Guys fan. Well, he laughed and said, yeah, I produced their music. Lo and behold, it was the illustrious David Saab. I had to get a picture made with him and send it in. So you know Saab, huh? You know Saab?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. He's a big music.
Grew up with all the Saabs.
So he's a big music producer for the show, as you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's incredible.
What do you think of his stuff? Like, if you had to rank
I love
it,
it.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
He kind of went a little squirrely on us because he came in strong and produced some stuff for us. I think he's retired. Like, I think, like, because we're
from the
willing,
music side of things, he's retired.
You know, we're willing to accept his stuff. We got no fresh stuff.
What more do you need?
Well, I think a few more things.
I mean,
a few more
spreads on stats is. I mean, that's locked down. That's great.
It is bouncy.
It's great. And,
Yeah.
you know, here's a fun and yeah, love the Sobs. That's cool that they ran into each other down there in Florida. Fun fact about the intro song, you know, King of Cool,
Right.
Donnie Iris.
It's Donnie Iris. It is Donnie Iris.
That song is recorded in my producer's studio.
Oh.
So my lead guitarist, and he's also my producer. We made each of my 3 albums together. He bought that studio in New Brighton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he, you know, he's renovated it, and that's where I made Seneca and How the Mighty Fall. In that same studio that Donnie Iris recorded that.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donnie. When you go up
Donnie.
to he's talking, Donnie used to be here. Donnie.
Oh, yeah. He's, you know, he's big time up there in Beaver County. But yeah, they that used to be called Jerry Recording Studios, and it was all done there.
Ain't that wild?
Yeah, that's where I made my first 2 albums. I was just up there yesterday.
Where'd you do Vandalia at when you did that album?
We were at
you were in PA there, weren't you?
Yeah, we were up in McKeesport.
That's tough time there. I think you gotta be a man to come out of there now.
Yeah.
Texter says, have you ever stood by Shaquille O'Neal? Yes, I have. Look at the hands. Oh my! So look at Shaq's hands next to that guy's hand.
No,
That's
Shaq big.
Shaq is big.
I know all about that, man. Dude, there's a NBA player that comes out to a lot of the shows, Myers Leonard, and he's a 7-footer. Yeah, every time I shake his hand, it just gets enveloped. Because I got small hands to begin with, and like, yeah, when he shakes my hand, his like fingers are up here on my forearms.
Do small hands help you with the guitar?
No.
You'd like to have bigger. You like to have his hands.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they would help is a machinist,
or a jeweler.
Or a jeweler.
Yeah, a jeweler might work. Texter says, "Hey guys, Mountain Mama Country Roads, singing Country Roads in Annapolis. Happy 500. Thanks for reading the text. Included my bad though for not making it clear. The text was a follow-up to one I sent earlier, giving a shout out. Here goes. I saw this at my hair salon. I immediately thought about you in efforting. So this is a sign. It says, behind every success is effort. Behind every effort is passion. Behind every passion is someone with the courage to try. That's like we were talking about Nick Malone. Talking about you. Texter. Guys, could you discuss why we couldn't move to a 4-man front since we're so thin at linebacker? 4 down, 2, 5, John in Parkersburg. You know, West Virginia does some odd, some even, and the answer, my guess would be, is that it's all dependent upon what the opposing team is trying to do to you, and that in some part plays into that. So it's not as easy to say, okay, all of a sudden we're going to be 4 down because we don't have linebackers. I think they'd rather try to get through that. Hey, guys, texting from the wild west of Jackson Hole, where a few of us diehard Mountaineer fans exist. Tony, I wish I would have run into you out here, but sure, you know how a few of us call this place home. For my son's 16th birthday, all he wanted to do was go to the BYU game, so we're going to fly to West Virginia this weekend. My only hope is we get to sing Country Roads for the first time with him. It'll be his 3rd game. He's never had a chance to sing the song, which is both sad and expensive. We've had our doubts this season, but feel better after UCF.
Fair point.
Really hoping for a memorable birthday trip and hopefully get some great food if you guys have the food court open. Let's go. Not the Yogi from Salt Lake City's brother, Chad. No, I'm sorry again. No food court this week, but we are efforting to do something going forward. Next picture is just a picture. It's not even a text. Someone just sent us this picture. Half-pound Reese cup.
Oh, yeah.
No.
8 ounces, Charles. 8 ounces.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
No such thing.
Too much, man. That's a medium-sized pizza.
Yeah, it is.
Brother.
And
that is.
Well, you know, you and I have a mutual friend that says this. There's no such thing as too many meatballs. And I don't know if there's too much. I don't know if there's such a thing as a too big of a Reese cup.
I'm in.
Do you put that in what you put like a cake in, where you cover it, keep the air off of it? You cut a slice of Reese's each day.
Put the
That's
dome.
awesome. I gotta look at that'd be great.
I mean,
take the lid off. Yeah,
Then it works. I mean,
that's a good call.
and that's a serious move there, man. You think about having an episode of Cribs where somebody's got a Reese's cup,
got a Reese cup dome.
a
got a
great
What's that over there? That's a Reese cup dome. What do you got? Got an 8-ouncer over there.
Kind of power move.
Yeah. If you're looking for that 8-ounce Reese cup, or actually the 72-pound Reese cup with the 13-foot fly rod Slim Jim, don't forget, triple rewards points all the month of November through December at Gomart. Do that on Tuesdays. Anything you buy at Gomart and use your rewards card, triple the rewards, which gets you better prices on your gas and your food. Get your rewards card by going to Gomart.com. Texter. Amazing how football brings people all over the country to Morgantown. My brother and his family drive 5 hours from Jackson Hole to fly out of Salt Lake for the BYU game this weekend. While he's in the airport, he sees a sea of BYU and WVU jerseys fly into Morgantown. The WVU jerseys were LDS faithful that completed their mission in West Virginia. I've met many missionaries that went to West Virginia for their mission. They speak fondly of their time spent in Appalachia and the wonderful folks they met. Should be a good one this weekend. Pack the damn stadium. Signed by Yogi Chris in Salt Lake City. You done anything? You done much in Utah?
Yeah. We
Salt Lake?
Yeah, we played the Depot in August. Had a hell of a show.
Yeah.
I like it out there.
So,
but I'm sure they do it every one of your shows. But you put something out on social when you sang Country Roads in that location. They went bananas.
Red Rocks.
That was was awesome.
Oh, Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Oh,
we do that at the end of every show.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool, man. I've met Zach Denver. He came out to our Red Rocks show and our Aspen show last month, and it's neat, man. I got the blessing of the family. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
How wild is that?
It's a moment, man. Anywhere we go, it's a big thing.
Is Red Rocks the greatest place you've ever played?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
From the performer's perspective, it's not.
Bad sound coming
It's
at
not
you?
No. It's great. It's great, and it's an amazing place. But
Right.
it's not as electric as some other places can be.
What's the
because
most
of the
electric
distance
place?
from the front row? Sometimes the most electric would be like a state fair, some janky setup where the barricade isn't like it might just be like the metal like bike fence
Yeah.
or something. They're right up on the stage. Sometimes those situations can make a show more electric than even like, you know, a Red Rocks is a little strange. Whereas from the performer's perspective, you know, there's like 10 yards between us and the front row.
I get you.
So it's not as electric as what some other places can be, even though those shows seem like, oh my gosh, what must that be like?
Yeah.
Well, there's other places that are, you know, can be way crazier. But from the crowd perspective,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better place to see a show than Red Rocks. I've watched shows there and perform there, and from the crowd, you're looking out. And, you know, as the opener's finishing, you know, whatever time of year you're there, you might catch the sunset and you see the Denver skyline out in the distance, and you're watching, you know, somebody that you've traveled to Colorado to go see, which is usually somebody, you know, one of people's favorite
Right.
artists and stuff.
Right.
So it's probably the best place to see a show.
Yeah.
But to perform one, there are some more electric venues in the world.
You take on this persona of a badass when you get on stage. Visually. Hey, Luke, put some of those pictures up again. Like when you put on your, like, let me see some. Like, that's a bad boy right there.
Hey, man.
That's a bad looking dude right there.
Yeah, you know, I try to make the most out of every night. You know, you're gonna be away and putting all those miles in, you might as well go all out. So
I love it, man.
when it's time to put on a show, we go out there and give them hell.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. There you go. And by the way, thank you for wearing the efforting T-shirt when you played down in Southern West Virginia. That was awesome, dude.
And I'll tell you what,
that was awesome.
I was gonna wear it anyways. I told you months before I'm gonna wear it at Healing Appalachia just because of the nature of the event and what it's there to fundraise for. But then the icing on the cake was that day. I'm supposed to take a flight from. I did the Opry the night before, and when I was getting a little greedy, I was trying to do everything. So I did the Opry the night before, and I have an early morning flight from Nashville to Lewisburg. All right, so there's this, and you know what? Anybody who works out there for Contour, sorry, it's janky. It's janky, and you can't depend on them. They have this thing where they work their flights through American, so you can book a flight with American. And here I am, the guy that's complaining about flights, but I'm just explaining to you the the situation. And then you go to Charlotte, then you get on a little Contour plane to go to Lewisburg.
Yeah.
So long story short, the Lewisburg airport is closed, and Contour doesn't let anybody know about this that holds a Contour ticket. I'm there at the American desk, and my stuff is, I'm not able to, like, nothing is checking in for me. The baggage, the ticket, and all. And the American workers at the desk have no idea why. They've never seen anything like it. You know, I got the confirmation and everything. And they pull the supervisor over, pull another supervisor over. They're trying to make this thing work on the computer. It's not happening. Too late. Can't catch the flight. Just wait. All the time gone.
You got to perform that night.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, 8-hour drive. I'll get down, rent a car, and get up there to Lewisburg. There's a ton of things going on in Nashville that weekend. Big festival, Americana Fest. All the rental cars are gone. And my tour manager's like, well, there's a box U-Haul truck that's available over here on the east side, and you can take that. I'm like, we're taking that. So me and my manager go and get this U-Haul box truck, and we drive it up to Lewisburg that day to make that show. So, you know, and roll into and park right next to the buses.
That's awesome.
And the funny thing, too, is my band is already there with the rig and everything. So we just have our 2 bags and my one, like, travel guitar I had in this entire box truck. So we, like, go back and lift up the garage door of the box truck, and there's just 2 suitcases and a guitar and just a giant empty room. But that was the situation of the day. So it was I was
memorable show.
See, that's a great one. So had you got a call from your guys earlier in the day, say, hey, are you coming? Your response is just simply efforting.
Yeah,
just efforting. That's all you had to say.
100%. Yeah, just that'd have been
8 hours.
That'd have been the text. Wife and kids were on the way down. How are things getting along? Efforting.
Efforting.
P1 listener, first-time texter Dave Cheat Lake. Your UCF pregame show was a great accompaniment to the fall foliage for our drive to Galax, Virginia, to participate in the Zoom barbecue competition this past weekend. Upon finishing the show, the fuel light came on. We made a pit stop at the Gomar past the New River Gorge. I also grabbed a pepperoni roll and coffee. We had a great weekend and even brought home some hardware. Gave the contest organizer the thanks for having us on our way out. Love the show. Here's some pics. Look at the food he made. Look at that, Charles. What about that, Senator?
Nice looking.
I would crush, like those, what do you got, 6 there? Done.
Same.
Like, it would be, and then there's the other one.
You got that in you, don't you, Tony?
I got overeating.
Yeah, you got that in you, bud.
Yeah, that overeating thing. I've often talked to myself about it. Just like you're a grown man now, and you just can't control yourself. Can't control yourself. And he does the same thing, too.
Hey, we all have our things.
Yeah, I guess it could be worse, right? It could be something that, yeah. Good morning, 3 guys. Catching up with Sunday's show, the Shaq conversation. Enjoy the photos for comparisons to see how big Shaq is. It was great meeting you, Tony. This is John and Marshall. Kind of look at the size of this dude. That guy was a big guy. I met him at the motel that we stayed at. The next day, he's taking pictures out there. Yeah, so I'm 6'4".
Oh, that puts it into perspective.
Yeah, go back to the other one. So I'm 6'4", so that guy's about 6'4".
Makes him look 5'6".
It's unbelievable.
You know, next to Shaq.
Yeah.
That's something, man.
Yeah, then he snuck in. I didn't know this guy took this picture either, so that's us in our booth. See how tiny that booth was, Brad?
Yeah. Shaq took that or the other guy?
The other guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think Shaq was up there. Diesel was.
Shaq could take that, and he'd just be standing behind you.
Standing right behind him on level ground.
Yeah, he was doing his DJ.
Just hold if we just took the picture right there, that's what it looked like.
He was doing his DJ thing as Diesel. He performed before the show.
Yeah, they have him at. They love having him at festivals, you know, because a great draw.
He draws a great,
yeah.
Texter, a wife that listens to 3 guys, then my husband must listen to me tell him everything you said. I listen to football, but basketball has my heart. I'm hoping to hear a breakdown of the upcoming season soon. We love going to the games, but being this far south makes it hard, and listening to your previews and recaps help ease the pain. My son's a freshman at WVU this year, so he's enjoyed home games for all of us, signed by Lori from Monroe County. Of course, Monroe County, one of the most beautiful counties in the state of West Virginia. Absolutely gorgeous county. Thank you for listening, Lori. We do appreciate it. Basketball, and I just thought of something, dude. Well, we're going to record Sunday. Oh, yeah, I guess we couldn't preview
we'll talk
basketball.
a little bit Sunday.
Yeah,
we'll talk
I thought we were going to do Monday. That's fine. Yeah. Basketball's got a little situation there going, Charles. Losing these dudes.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait to watch how these guys do this year.
You're talking about the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, it's been – I can't remember a time in West Virginia's program in my lifetime where we've had a year like this, and wouldn't it be something if they went out there and did something special this year?
That'd be awesome. Yep, absolutely. Matt in Roanoke, Virginia. I'm a longtime listener, first-time texter. Graduated in 2014. I live in Roanoke. I'm married into a diehard Virginia Tech family. Speaking of not wearing Virginia Tech gear to a Virginia Tech game, last year I was able to walk and talk my father-in-law into loaning me his Hokie Club box pass during the West Virginia game against Tech. My wife and I march into the box suite, full WVU gear. We got our free hot dog, bottle of water. We watched Sam James score a touchdown on the box suites TV. After the score, we gave all the disgruntled Hokie fans a look and said, "Thanks for having us." Made our way back to our seats. Never wear Virginia Tech gear, no matter the situation. Just my thoughts on the matter. Thank you.
Seems like he made out all right.
He did.
Well done.
Yeah,
He got out of the
Took
shape.
the food, got a touchdown. We were checking into the going through security at the stadium Saturday, and the girl checking us said, "Well, you West Virginia guys?" Go, "Yeah." I go, "Sam James is my nephew."
Small world.
Small world, man.
Always.
Always a West Virginia connection. You know that.
True that.
Hey, three guys, longtime listener. I'm watching the Mountaineers take down UCF. My son and I were ending the long drive from Mineral County, West Virginia to Americus, Georgia. Went on a wild boar hunt. We're big hunters. During the game, it reminded me of Tony's boar hunt controversy. As the nights fell on my phone, watching the game at the motel, we waited for the night to fall, and my son killed this Georgia boar hog.
Good Lord.
Hoss.
We are longtime season ticket holders. Keep up the good work. Love the show. Trust the climb. Let's go, Mountaineers. Look at that bad
Dude.
boy.
That's a hog right there.
It's
Well
huge.
done. He's a kiddo too, right?
Yeah,
One
a
in the
little kid
camo
got
there.
that thing, man.
Hey, good shot, bud.
I'd like the story on that.
I got 2 with 1 shot in February.
Did
with
you?
my father-in-law. I did.
You got
Yeah.
2 with 1.
I got 2 with 1. They I was on the ground and they stepped out in the window and down there 75 yards in those woods is a long way. How thick it is. And yeah, it's it steps out into this window and they'll travel 30 of them, in a little pack and I make the shot and turns out a smaller one had also stepped out in that same window right there next to it.
Bang, bang.
Yeah. It was all good though. We had 3 tags, so
Did they both go down instantaneous?
Oh
or
yeah,
one?
yeah.
They
both
went
down. Yeah.
So
and
yours weren't already sleeping when you shot them? They were
no,
up
they were
moving?
Yeah, they were walking and eating.
Really,
and,
really good.
Yeah, my father-in-law, he got one, and it worked out where I got the two done right there. So
First
it was
time
a
on
great
this
day.
set anybody's come on here live with a story of killing a boar while it was actually awake.
No, deer.
Or
He's
not
talking
dead.
about deer.
Oh, deer. I think you meant
Deer.
boar.
He's talking about deer.
No, that's boar.
Oh,
Yeah,
you had
see,
boar.
It said a boar.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's
said.
Oh, I didn't know you went boar.
Florida. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you were in Florida. I thought you were in
Yeah.
West Virginia.
No. I'll go deer hunting here at the end of the month.
I was going to
can't
ask you
wait.
if you're going.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Now,
can't.
where
wait.
you go? Where do you go?
Hey,
got
got
a
land
place.
in Pendleton County.
Of course.
We all do.
See?
It's the way it works, man.
See?
I thought you were going to give me a little Seneca. Are you going to give me? You're going to give me a little
100%
Seneca?
I'll be down there in Seneca.
You'll be
Yeah.
down there at Seneca.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? We were talking about always a West Virginia connection. Getting they call it hair and makeup, but just like the grease stuff off of our face
Yeah.
before we do.
Rub you down.
We taped for CBS Saturday morning last week, and it'll be on this Saturday.
Really?
The hair and makeup lady. Oh, my
Wait a
husband's
second.
from Buchanan.
Well, wait a
Up
second.
there,
Wait,
we're
wait.
at Times Square at the,
Hey, wait,
at the old
time out.
TRL studio.
Wait.
It's from Buchanan?
And her husband is from Buchanan.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it was like, yeah,
But wait a second. You just throw at us. Yeah, we're going to be on CBS.
Yeah.
You're going to be on CBS Sunday morning.
yeah.
What's the story?
Saturday morning?
Saturday morning. So Hoppy Kercheval was also on CBS Saturday morning. They featured him.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
There we go.
He
Yeah,
was
I
known as the Mansion Whisperer. That was the
I've
title
heard
of
that.
his.
I've heard that.
So-
He gets all the scoop.
Yeah, he does. So what's your feature? What's the story?
Just singing a song. We did 3 songs, and I think they.
Always when they bring the band out.
Yeah, at the end of the first hour, and then at the
Yeah,
end of
I know.
at the end of the show, we'll be the band.
Oh, dude, I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah,
That's big.
yeah, it's great. But like I said, the hair and makeup lady. Oh, my husband's from Buchanan. You know,
It is crazy.
And it everywhere I run into that there's things like that.
That really is true. There's always a West Virginia. That truly is accurate.
100%.
You know what? The Maverick. You ever heard the Mavericks? That big group. They
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
like- so I saw them for the very first time on that CBS Saturday morning when they play, and I started. I got to listen to this stuff, so I've been listening to them. So like that's going to happen to you. People are going to hear you Saturday.
Dude, they're fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
Morgantown's own Sean Wilhelm, big Mavericks fan.
Is
I
that
think-
right?
Yeah, I think he's down in Key West now. But anyways, he's a huge Mavericks fan. He was my old bass player.
Awesome. Let me see here. A great fun fact from Saturday. The last time West Virginia won a league game in the state of Florida was 2011, USF. Interesting enough, we wore the same uniform combo that we wore Saturday, blue, white, blue. That year we lost 3, but we won the conference, smashed the Dabos in the Orange Bowl, and I'll remember. Great win. Now let's go get BYU. Texter, I've been trying to get to know about our new conference members. For instance, I learned that the team in Florida must be called the UCF Knights, not the University of Central Florida or the Golden Knights. I wonder if saying it wrong is the equivalent of people calling the world champion Mountaineers the University of West Virginia or spelling our abbreviation WVA. Anyway, I got a question that may help to learn more about the fine folks from BYU. If their fans walk by your tailgate, would it be considered bad form to ask them if they would like a beer or maybe some moonshine? What about a soda? We don't want to offend our new conference mates.
I got no idea.
I think you just
invite them over. Food. Can I get you something to drink?
Yeah, you start with food.
Yeah, just bring food over.
Exactly. You just go like, hey, can we get you something? And then they'll make the call on that.
And that's always a good move, man. For, West Virginia fans, be nice to the other fans as they're coming in, invite them into your tailgate. It's a good move because I've been a West Virginia fan in an away game, and folks are nice. I always remember that in a positive light.
Yes.
Let me see. John from Alabama, who used to be in Parkersburg, big red guy. Hello, my 10-year-old son and I are coming up to the BYU game for something much more powerful than textual healing. You see, it's been a difficult raising a son to be a Mountaineer fan in Alabama. My son Tate does an incredible job of taking all the jab from the Bama fans at school and at sports practices on Mondays after a loss. Anyway, I'm fearing that he's starting to be persuaded to come over to the SEC dark side. We got a rear break in travel sports this weekend. We're coming to Morgantown to try to experience a victory and rolling out the red carpet for him. Flying instead of driving, nice hotel for 2 nights at the waterfront, nice pregame meal consisting of Fly Rod Slim Jims, pumpkin Reese's Cups, pepperoni rolls, and a few Kirchevels for my efforts, of course. While catching a glimpse at his favorite player, Pac-Man Fox, at the man trip. Tate will be listening as usual. We love the show. Any other advice would be appreciated. Well, Charles is going to be at the game. I'd say try to find Charles somewhere in the crowd and get your picture made with Charles. You're going to the game Saturday.
I am, man.
This the only weekend you're not working this season?
Yeah, I think it's working out. It's kind of worked out that way.
Perfect. You're going to be in Morgantown 4 nights in a row. You've already sold out here.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
It'll be a good time. But
Have you ever played there?
No. I haven't even been inside the building since I saw Kendrick Lamar there in college.
How about that?
Which, he'd be playing the Coliseum for 2 nights if he came back. But yeah, so I can't wait. I heard they renovated it and it's
nice.
It's real nice now.
They've done a real nice job.
But yeah, I can't wait for the game this weekend, guys. This is a big one. It's important.
How are you as a fan during a game? Are you animated? Are you chilled out?
Oh, I'm pretty animated.
Samantha has to tell you to chill.
I was watching, to give you an example, we're in this, we were playing Green Hall, and it's right outside of New Braunfels, Texas, a couple weeks ago during the Oak State game. And my front of house guy is a Oak State fan. And so my band and I, we're all in this cottage, and we're watching the game, and that punt return or lack thereof, the punt happened there, and they were all out that door in about 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just involuntary, and that's you get that. But then you get weeks like last week, and what a fun game to watch, man. That was a great week.
Yeah, 3 guys. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to P1 Shannon and DC, who got married at the Erickson Alumni Center last Saturday. We started the day with a tour of the men's basketball facility, followed by lunch at Mario's Fishbowl. We watched the world champion Mountaineers take down UCF all before the ceremony. Perfect day for a noon Eastern kickoff, a truly great day.
All caps Eastern there.
Yeah, all caps Eastern.
They're referring to you guys.
Yeah.
To you guys moving mountains.
We appreciate
and
it.
changing those Big 12 media
yeah.
Took a while.
Schedules.
Took a decade.
That's
been a lot of hammering away.
It's beautiful to see, though. My God.
Yeah, seriously, it was a great feel. Hey, do we have a picture of that, Luke? 4 guys in suits at the Erickson Alumni Center. I think that was in there as well. There they are.
There you go.
Look at them
Okay.
dudes.
Yeah. He gave you. So You didn't read the signature there.
Oh,
signed by. I got you. Signed by Brian in Chandler, Arizona, the heart of Big 12 country.
Texter, I'm just hoping. I was just listening to you read the records of the football and the basketball team since the show began. Did those records include the Kansas forfeited wins in the Big 12 tournament championship?
Good point.
Might have to adjust the numbers a little. Without Brad bad-mouthing the NCAA and their no rules, we would never have won the Big 12 championship. Thanks, Brad. Now hang the damn banner, Glenn and Scott Depot.
Can we talk a second about this?
Absolutely.
We'd love to.
I mean,
hashtag HTB, by the way, episode 800.
And I think you kind of laid the roadmap there a couple weeks ago. The university just needs to do what's right, no matter what. And then just let it, if the NCAA wants to go to court, you just drag them for years. Hang the banner. Go in there and scratch the name, change the number of wins in the season. Let these guys play.
Yeah.
You know, what?
Just say what? You're not doing anything to anybody else.
I've never seen anything like it, man. It's something else.
So I hear
you
you
get all fired up, but
no,
come
I
on,
get you.
come on.
I hear you. So the deal on that is UCF did that with the national championship. You go in their stadium, dude. As big as you can see, it says 2017 National Football Champion.
Good.
They did rings and the whole thing.
They did the whole thing. See, if you do that, though, basically, here's the concern. I'll explain why. If you do that, you're giving the finger to the NCAA, and they might go okay, you gave us the finger, but down the road.
They might not allow. They might deny a waiver to you. Then they might make another. They might deny another waiver. Then they might allow somebody else in the league to still get the win. They might. They might. What else are they gonna do?
I think
What's
Brad's
it
right
gonna do
there. Aren't we already getting it?
It's already taken it.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, fine. Here we go.
Hashtag HTB.
Tony's always the more sensible in these matters because we've talked about this stuff for as it comes up over the years in private situations, and Tony's always very sensible in it.
Yeah,
you're probably right, Tony.
Yeah,
in the long run,
I mean, there are certain things where I just put the hammer down and say this is what we're doing, but there are other things I just know how the whole thing works.
Well, he's right.
Yeah.
You can't do it. They can't. I get it. You should be able to.
Yeah,
you should be able to.
It's the same thing in the music industry. Sometimes you just put your head down, and keep moving,
because otherwise they'll blackball you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How political is the music scene?
Oh.
It's everything.
Sometimes I feel like a politician. It's something.
Three guys.
So they can't actually hang the banner, but that's why we do the shirt HTB, because that's our little way of getting a little sense of victory after getting hosed because they used an illegal guy that went for a double-double in the Big 12 championship.
But seriously though, maybe those guys ought to get rings. You know what I mean? Just something,
Sure.
Not make a big ceremony of it, but
I seriously do want to. I want to have a banner back there. I do want to get the one. Why can't just make a banner and just hang it?
We'll hang the banner
just so we can laugh like heck every time we come in. It says
we'll hang it.
Big 12 basketball tournament champions.
Yeah, when Nate Adrian was on that team, wasn't he?
Yeah,
pretty sure
probably.
2017. Yeah. So when he comes back from Italy, maybe he's got some ice on the finger. Wouldn't hurt.
Some ice on the finger.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
No, I'm with you.
Those guys got robbed.
Yeah. Hey, three guys. Shane, not Morgan from Morgantown. Proud Mohegan and Mountaineer alum, longtime listener, first-time texter. Love the show. Love the way I stay connected. It's been a nice way to give my wife a peek into the wild wonderful as well. Big congrats on passing 500 shows. Currently, I'm in Robinson, Illinois, working in HR for the same company as my esteemed colleagues, Mountaineer basketball legends Cam Thurman and Kevin Noreen. We were married last year out in Big 12 country, the other mountain state, Utah, where my wife's from. She's unique in that although she's a BYU alum, she and her family actually root for future conference opponent, the University of Utah. That being said, her and I are making the 8-hour trip to Morgantown for the matchup of our respective alma maters. Her parents are flying in from Salt Lake for an in-law tour of my home state, and I'm proud to report that myself and these three Utah natives will be sporting our best West Virginia gear for the Mountaineers and hoping for a crushing of the Cougs. Here's hoping the missus and the parents-in-law get the opportunity to enjoy college football's best traditions, singing along to our favorite Johnny Boy Denver classic. You were supposed to sing your song Q Country Roads at the stadium.
I was. Yeah. It was supposed to be the homecoming game on the 28th.
Right.
Which we know the homecoming game was not on the 28th. It was the 21st, in fact, and I was in Texas. Yeah. So once we figured that out, that put the kibosh on that. It's all good, though. Maybe sometime
one of these days.
Yeah.
They've been playing it, man. I mean, they love it. Nate from the land of Joe Alexander. Tony, Hoppy, Senator, I'm sure Brad will probably do a deep analysis on this after the season is over. But you two knuckleheads who can't understand yards per route run, but if you were to rate our most recent football portal class based on how they're performing to this point against other Big 12 classes, how do you rank them? Thinking about this as a class versus an individual. Yeah, that's postseason. On an unrelated note, I listen to Neil's show, his press conference every week, and I've noticed that Andrew Curry is more soft-spoken, and it results in me constantly turning the volume up. Thank you very much, Nate. I've sent along a note to Junior to turn his microphone up.
Speaking of some big time difference transfers, Cole Taylor. I see you tweet just about every weekend. Catch. It's been a big difference this year. Having him catching some of those balls.
Coach Blaine Stewart over there getting them ramped up,
getting it done, man. I ran into Brian Kelly a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, Coach, just want to thank you for Cole Taylor."
You gave Brian Kelly a version of thanks for having us.
Yeah, I was like, man, he's been doing really well for us. I just want to thank you for that. And he goes, man, thank you for Jordan Jefferson. He's doing really well.
Oh, that's well done by him. That's true.
He got me right back. You take care, Coach. Anytime you want to come out to show you, just let me know.
So you were down there?
Yeah, I was in Baton Rouge, played the Texas club, and saw the facilities building and stuff. They got some nice stuff. I was texting Blaine after. I was like, man, we got to get a walkthrough room. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. They're getting nice stuff.
How was Kelly? Was he all right?
Oh, yeah, super nice.
Yeah, he was good with you?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we got our shirts. No worries. Ms. Patty peeled off the paper stickers, and we ran them through the laundry and ironed them before we wore them out in public. Also, I didn't get popped in the mouth. I forgot I had a dip in my lip when the picture was taken. So there they are right there. Aside from a nice dinner, the shirts were our anniversary present to each other. What better definition of efforting than a long marriage? Signed by Steve and Pat Wilson in Tornado, West Virginia. Thank you. He said, I forgot I had a dip in my mouth there.
Happy anniversary, too.
Absolutely. They're wonderful.
Love that.
They're huge fans. And they grow San Marzano tomatoes in their garden.
Real ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They talked to me about that last year at TBT. Yeah. Currently, Christmas shopping on episode800.com. Can we arrange for Hoppy to model the Three Guys cropped windbreaker signed by Dana from Houston? He might put that on.
What's going to happen to episode800.com once you guys surpass?
Yeah, we ain't going to get it. Probably not going to have. Probably not going to see episode 800. So we're probably not going to worry about that.
So you guys are getting about 100 a year. You did 100 in about 13 months.
Approximately. Yeah, 70,
so
80.
It's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, you still got what? 300 to go? I don't know, dude.
You just got to start planning because I think there's only going to be more and more folks tuning in to the program.
It's like this, Charles. It's like when those record companies, like they keep pushing their talent for more album. You need another album. You need another. It's kind of where we are right now. We got so much creative juice, and once that juice is gone, it's probably not going to happen. Grant from Parkersburg, I just read West Virginia's release on Carisa's suspension for receiving impermissible benefits. With NIL, how is it being openly utilized? What possibly is an impermissible benefit? Honest question, because it's extremely confusing. Okay, I'll give it to you really super simple. There are still rules you can break, and one of those rules you can break is if you receive a benefit for free, you cannot sell it. Plain and simple. That's what it is. Plain and simple. That's what it is. Curtis in Portland.
Now, you can just get money, though, if you want to go to that school, that football or basketball program would just give you money to go play there.
Mm-hmm.
Now that rule's not on the books anymore. That rule's still on the books.
Well, supposedly it's not pay for play. If you go through the NIL chapters, that you can.
So you got to do a commercial or something there to get.
Correct. You do some work.
Really? Huh.
You have to do something to get the money.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So some things are not illegal, but some are. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now, how would get money and not play a game and leave?
Yeah. But you can receive money now for things. You can receive money.
I don't dispute the fact that there is a lot of convoluted stuff going on, but there are still certain things.
So that'd be selective enforcement is in place again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh?
There's that finger again.
Selected enforcement.
Better follow the rules because they might decide to enforce things on you.
Texter, I received my care package from episode 800. I'm pumped to wear my efforting shirt, so when asked about it, well, pretty much anything, I can simply point to the shirt and walk off. I also ordered some of the 3 beans before the day coffee, which is excellent. My wife is from Bogota, Colombia.
Oh.
She's a coffee snob. I put it to the test this morning, and she passed it with flying colors. We will definitely be ordering more. As always, I love the show and appreciate y'all do for the years in the state. Thank you. Signed by Hoodoo Chris in Houston.
Appreciate that.
Andy writes in, responding to the text about football players and mouthpieces. No, mouthpieces are not required to be used. Many players have them but don't use them. In high school, they are required, but college athletes are adults. They get to make that decision. Just take a look at how many of these athletes wear their pants. Knee pads aren't even close to covering a player's knee. Just a sign of the times and the evolving game. Just my 2 cents from officiating 20 years of football. I appreciate you guys. Signed by Andy McPherson, not from McPherson, Kansas.
Excellent. Andy always weighs in with the rules. Appreciate that.
A Reed from New Jersey thinks, I'll do this quick. He says, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but this latest basketball issue has me begging this question. Since the firing of Shane Lyons and the unceremonious departure, we've seen Jose Perez with a waiver denial and an appeal denial, Omar Silverio with a waiver denied that ends his career, Raekwon Battle with a waiver denial, Kirk Ariza suspended for 9 games for something apparently that happened at Arizona. I can't help but think that Shane Lyons and his connections to the NCAA have something to do with this. What do the 3 of you say? Reed from New Jersey. Emphatically, Reed, I can tell you this. Absolutely zero. Zero. You say you're not a conspiracy theorist, Reed. Don't go, yeah, you're right, you're not. No, trust me when I tell you that. Each of those cases had the reasoning behind them. Shane is not, nor would he do all that.
I wonder if you would have had more success if Battle would have just arrived like here a month from now, like in December, and then you just went ahead and used him in January a couple weeks later rather than trying to go through the proper channels and do it the correct way.
It might
I wonder if that would have helped. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't.
Yeah. The next gentleman wrote a letter that's too long. Jim in Williamsburg. I'll just paraphrase it. He's really mad that the yellow buses no longer run to get people back and forth to the stadium. Apparently they stopped in COVID, and he wanted to know if we could do anything about it. But he said this: we enjoyed the game despite the loss. This was the Oklahoma State. Highlight of the trip was finally securing 2 4-packs of Kirchhoff. It's everything you said it was. The point of this is to suggest that the lot at the Coliseum was empty and it's away from the stadium. We would have gladly paid more for the yellow buses. Efforting. We do a lot of things. We're not on buses.
Yeah, Kirchhoff is hot.
You
tried it?
Oh, yeah.
What do you
yeah,
think?
it's great. I had it over at Apothecary.
Now, you wouldn't think, like, maybe someday, like, when you're on stage, like, maybe have a can placed on a seat somewhere that people kind of, what's that?
He's already given us
If
nice
you guys
product placement.
If y'all want to send it out to each venue I'll be at,
That'd be awesome.
then
Even
it'll be up there on
even in your
stage.
green room.
To be honest, I very rarely drink anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I can definitely put it up there. You know.
It's like a placeholder. Like Lou,
Yeah.
like
And
Nick Saban, he doesn't drink that Coca-Cola that they make him put on that podium every week.
My bass player, fellow WVU grad, he'd probably gladly put it up there.
Yeah.
You know, on his amp.
Efforting.
Yeah. Texter, this is from auctioneer, ESPN Plus lover, and keeper of the bell. Anthony Beck's son Rocco is having a good year at Iowa State. He's a quarterback there. Why do you think West Virginia did not give him an offer when he was coming out of high school? Also, I attended the Oklahoma State game and noticed that the Big 12 pennant flag at Mountaineer Field says Central Florida, not UCF. The Knights won't be pleased. As always, love the show, Kevin in Princeton. And so the Rocco Beck thing was when Nico Marchiol was coming in.
Correct.
And that was it.
They talked to Nico, or they talked to Rocco. Yeah, he visited a bunch of times. He is having a really good year for Iowa State.
Tremendous
He's doing
year.
a nice job.
Yes, he is having a tremendous year.
Yeah, I mentioned all those stats that Garrett's high in the league in. Rocco's right there. He's having an unbelievable freshman year for them. So good for him.
And probably wouldn't have been on the field if it wasn't for Hunter Decker, their quarterback, getting busted and booted for gambling. He probably is in the backup the whole year.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 guys.
Which the way he's playing would have been a mistake.
He's going to
all due respect to Hunter Deckers, but
Yeah,
Rocco's having a great
He's
year.
going to Wally Pipple, Hunter Decker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Given all the unfortunate issues with the basketball program, do you think Wren gives Josh an additional year to really give him a fair chance? I don't, to be quite honest with you. I think whatever it is, and I don't see that happening, To be quite honest with you, it would surprise me. That's just my gut.
Yeah, I'd love to see him do great.
I want to see Josh win. Absolutely,
I want to see him do great.
If that's the case and Josh interviews for jobs somewhere else, can you imagine the level of experience on just wild stuff he has on his resume? I mean, he's going to walk into whatever job he's interviewing for in the future. I don't even know if he needs to say it. He just walks in and says, what do you have? Go ahead and make up a scenario and try and throw it at me. I've probably dealt with it in my 6 months. It's an unbelievable start for Josh.
You're never going to see worse.
No, you're exactly right.
Situation and stuff. So he's getting through this great, I think. And
yes, agree.
Hopefully these guys have a great year. And, I hope it sets them up, whether, it's here or wherever. I hope it sets them up well.
Yeah. Shannon in D.C., I wanted to reach out, give a huge thank you to fine-looking Phil and his team at Daniels. This past weekend, I got married. My ride to town, I realized I forgot my shirts for the rehearsal and the wedding.
Oh.
This isn't going to end well. I didn't tell my partner because I knew he would have had a meltdown. I also knew exactly where I had to go to get what I needed. Phil had me measured, shirt tailored in a jiffy.
Yep.
Thanks for him to getting take care of me, signed by Shannon. You know what? That word jiffy.
Shannon.
Jiffy is not used enough anymore.
Because you knew exactly what that meant.
He did it in a jiffy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Phil works.
Not two master tailors.
Phil's fast.
Oh.
Back when they didn't have our luggage at the wedding, Tony, we probably could have called Phil. And Phil probably could have FedExed us a suit overnight, and it would have been there.
It would have done it. Or he would
I
have
don't think there's any question.
He would have sent Harry the tailor over with just a bunch of fabric. He would have custom made one for us while we were standing.
Bolt of fabric.
I got
established on the last show.
I got married in a custom Daniels suit.
There you go.
Just because, nobody else would rather go to.
Charles and I both had our luggage not arrive when we went to.
You told that story.
Yeah. Mailman from Mercer County. Oh, here's a mailman from Mercer County. Episode 350, February 2, 2022, Tony asked for someone to write a song called Textual Healing. Episode 352, February the 7th of 22, David Saab produces Textual Healing. Saab goes on to produce top 10 hits such as Hoppy Go Lucky, Hoppy's song on episode 409, October the 17th of 22, Spreads on Stats, Brad's song on episode 442, February the 14th of 23. I have spent more than 6 months consuming 2 to 3 episodes per day of Three Guys Before the Game, starting with episode 1. I have more useless information, but will share it from time to time in order to keep the text brief. P.S. I have to do something to occupy my mind during the countless hours of stuffing mailboxes each day.
So you've asked that before. Who went back and listened to the 2019 Red Raider review episode? Our guy, our mailman.
Yeah, because we look at the stats, Charles, and there's people listening to episodes of like a preview of a game from 5 years ago. And we go like, who wants to listen to that? We're going like, well, tell you what, you got to get the defense.
You got to get Charles Sims the ball on third down.
Man, mailman from Mercer County also would be very talented in a police station, I imagine, with being able to write police reports. And sounds like going back and looking up evidence and things like that. My God.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
That's great.
Texter, Jeremy from Man, West Virginia, home of the Hillbillies. We're at the basketball game last Friday. Got a hometown boy who's playing for George Mason, Austin Ball, there to support him. But we are the biggest Mountaineer fans. It was conflicting. I never in my life cheered for another team than the Mountaineers. We're cheering every basket except my son, Easton. He's 12. He's cheering for the Mountaineers the whole game while wearing a George Mason shirt. LOL. Seth Wilson's his favorite. I'm on cloud 9 getting to see Deshaun Butler and Alex Ruoff. Butler actually spoke to us. I was giddy, super nice. I should have gotten a selfie with him. We're in the row behind the Mason bench. My son starts saying, Dad, 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 behind you. It was Huggins, Coach Huggins. I took a picture, but I definitely was not subtle with it. Look. He said we could also see the ESPN Plus monitor, so I told my wife to kiss me. We're on TV. So there he is. His wife's kissing him while he's on TV.
Yeah, man.
Only bad part was Austin didn't get into the game, but he's such a great kid. He'll always be a hillbilly.
Real quick, Austin, one of the great dunks in state tournament history, right at the end of the game, the assist from our guy, Peyton Adams. Remember our little guy, Peyton, the point guard?
Peyton,
dished to Austin with a great dunk as they're winning it. TJ Blevins, of course, the coach down there. We love our man's basketball.
Oh, the best.
What other state is like this, too, where there's a kid from in-state where everybody in the state is still pulling for them? Sure. They get an opportunity to go somewhere. it's like that if there's ever a West Virginia in the pros. Like every West Virginia was a fan of whatever baseball team
Yes.
Jed Jerko was on the MLBs.
Exactly.
It's a special thing about West Virginia because I know it's not like that in other places.
Texter says, am I the only one that does not want to see college teams go to wireless helmet technology? I love watching the pageantry of excessive hand signals from the sideline coaches and crazy cardboard signs with even stranger images. There's something special about this that separates the college game from the pros. With all that being said, I'm not a coach and never have been, and I'm sure that wireless technology is superior. I just don't want it. Signed by Matthew in Charlotte. He's from Buffalo originally. P.S. I haven't heard a Sean McDonough voice lately. Any reason why? Well, I tell you this, Matthew. You're a fine young man, I'm sure. Appreciate your support of the Mountaineers, and I don't know why I haven't been doing Sean lately. Perhaps because he's gone into the National Hockey League portion of his season. Wonderful game. They play on ice.
Thought Aaron Rodgers kind of made a great point on that on the McAfee show. Said these guys are getting paid now. They're pros. They ought to be able to have the quarterback at least have.
Yeah, to hear the play.
Yeah.
Instead of those guys at Michigan sniffing them.
And it takes all that out of the equation.
Yeah. This was interesting. 7 home games plus Pitt and Cincinnati on the road next year. West Virginia will play 9 games in the Eastern time zone next season. It's true.
Is that right?
I went over them, yeah. In fact, I told Ren that this morning. He didn't know that either. You add the 3, you add the Penn State, the Ohio U, and then the FCS.
Albany?
Whoever it is.
Well,
you add those
that's
3. Those
home,
are all Eastern. So you get 9 Eastern games next season.
You get 6 league games in the Eastern time?
You get 3. No, you get so what is it next year? I know you go to Texas Tech and Arizona. Those are your 2 long ones. Then you got Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And it works out to 9.
Wow.
I actually did the math.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, Pitt's the other one that you're playing Eastern time zone because you're up there.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah. And we had a great time at UCF, but I had to feel for their fans at the stadium. Their stadium leaves a lot to be desired. Hope they have another plan. They do. They've got about $100 million that they're going to put in the stadium in the next 3 years. I was happy to see we are fair catching more kickoffs. Question for spreads. What's our average field position when we try to bring back a kickoff? What's the national average? Evansdale will miss y'all's tailgate this weekend. Signed by Bill in Evansdale. That might be one for next week.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Why does the new Big 12 football scheduling format seem so complicated yet vague? Is it an attempt to ensure that no team gets slammed with a particularly difficult schedule or gets a very easy schedule in any given year while taking into account travel distances? JD from the Southern Coalfields. I think this, JD, there's no way to do anything easy in life with 16 things. 16 kids, 16 dogs, 16 cats, 16 teams. Like, how do you put them in any kind of a format that makes everyone happy? You can't. I did find this out. People saying, why can't you play Cincinnati every year? The only ones that they're honoring are in-state rivalries. So Arizona State, BYU and Utah.
Baylor, TCU, Kansas State. Yeah,
exactly.
We talked about that on Sportsline last night.
Yeah. I
saw Colorado will be coming to Morgantown 2 seasons from now.
Think Prime will be there.
That's how I was like, man, I hope he still is, because I just was like, man, if they come here next year, that would be a big weekend in Morgantown.
Yeah. Texter.
Yeah, 2025.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? That's a long time.
Texter Noah in Clarksburg wants to know for 3 guys for episode 800, why don't you sell a T-shirt that says Mormons versus the Mullets? Like, remember Notre Dame, Miami was convicts versus the Catholics.
Remember?
And, I guess you could. BYU, I guess, did it against Coastal in 2020. I don't know. 3 guys, most of our stuff is organic.
I did look up, we beat BYU in that 2016 meeting. I think it was Utah who we lost to.
Oh, yeah, in the bowl game.
Yeah. So we beat BYU 2016 35-32.
Yeah, they had Taysom Hill was in D.C.
Yeah, Utah game was bad. Huh?
Utah was that bowl game that resembled a spring practice that will always be remembered as when their defensive end picked up our left side tackle and threw him into our quarterback and knocked the quarterback down.
Yeah, that offense wasn't really clicking that day.
That's the kind of thing that's on a high school highlight reel for some kid.
That was after we lost. Will Greer broke his hand, and we were relegated to situation there. Yeah. Really quick here toward the end. Long-time listener, first-time texter. Anxiously anticipating a BYU beatdown. This game already has rivalry vibes for me. I work with a significant number of BYU alums. I actually spent a few years living in Pocatello, Idaho, supporting work at a DOE lab in that area. Located only a couple hours north of BYU means there's a lot of Cougars in our workforce. Been a lot of chatter this year, so I'm hoping we show up. Got to end with 2 West Virginia connections we made while living out there. After moving, my wife and I decided we had to check out the ISU tailgate scene to see how it measured up. It's no blue lot. However, I did wear a West Virginia shirt. Within an hour of being there, I get a tap on the shoulder and turn around to see another fine gentleman also rocking a West Virginia polo. He'd moved out there from Charleston 30 years ago, still wears gold and blue. Weekend trip number 2 to West Yellowstone in November. It's a ghost town that time of the year, but we find a bar that's open, the Slippery Otter.
Goodness.
Sit down, start having a few beverages. Someone else comes in, sits beside us. Naturally, we get to talk. Turns out he's a pilot, used to fly the WVU basketball team around. Small world. My dad turned me on to this podcast years ago. If you could, give Chuck a shout-out. Sure, he'd appreciate it. Let's go Mountaineers. This is signed by Charlie from the Goshen Road exit. Well, Chuck, thank you so very much for listening through the years, and thank you for turning your son on. And God bless Goshen Road. Texter, back in my day, having a chance to go to a 6-3 start in November was considered fun. Enjoy what should hopefully be a great late season atmosphere. And if y'all could begin to effort the Tucson tailgate for next year, us West Coast folks would appreciate it. Signed by Benny in the Bay Area. Texter, hey guys, with a recent retirement announcement from JJ, because I was wondering, Tony, if you could give us a few words about his contribution, and I would vote for him coming on the show as a guest in the summer. Short answer is yes, I will. Let's do that. Remind me to do that Sunday, because we're literally like, I haven't looked in a long time. Like, where are we on this?
Is this a record length?
This thing, holy potato salad.
Are we 2 hours?
Hour 56. Listen, we got to go because they rent this studio out in late afternoon hours to a flea market from around. A lady comes in, she sells shawls and crochet. Got to go. Yeah, that's it. That's enough. Done. Turn the music on. If Kercheval was here, by the way, Charles, he would have used up an entire can of lip balm right now. He'd be nervous. He would have had to pee 3 times. He can't. That's why I'm glad you're here and you're young. He gave us 156, doesn't bite.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Gave us time.
I could go all day. I'm pumped.
Did you have fun? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm
Now here's a question.
You've got to come back for a summer series interview because there's
sure.
more to your story we have to get into. I feel like I've got more questions.
Kind of a little busy
I know,
in the
but
summer.
we got to mix something
in
in there.
I get home every now and then. I'd love to come back.
Hey, so here's a big question I have for you. It might be the most difficult question you've been asked so far today. Will you listen to this show? Now that you've just heard it live, will you go back when you're?
Because I got the.
Yeah, you saw the beginning of it. When you're running, you're not going to go re-listen.
No.
I was wondering.
Good question.
It'd be a 2-hour run. I mean, hell, be a marathon for you.
No, I mean, I got to watch everything there from the control room, so I'm good. I got my information.
Pretty high
I'm
tech.
good to go. I don't want to hear my own voice. That's for damn sure.
I got my information.
I hope you had as much fun as I did. I hope our listeners had as much fun as we did. Charles Wesley Godwin. Watch him. Your tickets, by the way, for the show at the Met, secondary market tickets, they're going to get hot, I think. Four in a row. It did make the hotels a little more expensive. Yeah. 3 guys before the game brought to us by Comax Business System, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. By the award-winning Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. Best in the Valley, best in the Tri-State. They got awards, which means they're good. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And if you do take advantage of our special Tri-Tune Avalon Boat Series, tell them you're asking for the 3 guys special. And by Connolly CPA Group, providing value Beyond the Numbers. Special thank you to our producer, Luke Rousey. That'll do it for us. We're back on Sunday with our recap of West Virginia, BYU, and a little preview of West Virginia against Missouri State in basketball on Monday. We're out. See y'all. That's episode 501 in the book.